Do it live. All right.
So, BLUG business. Let's see. We made, I guess the only old business was we decided to make the code of conduct apply only to the .org committee, and we did that. We changed the wording on it.
That echo is really weird.
Yeah, it's having some echo.
Is that me?
Let's try this.
There, how's that?
Why don't we turn Bill's mic
Let's use
on?
John, because John seems to have the best.
Yeah.
Okay, keep going, Bill.
Okay. And I believe let's see, we had Adrian, I know where it is. We had Adrian speak at the meeting I couldn't make it to the last BLUG meeting, and so we need one for March. And Joshua, a while back, said he would do a presentation on SysD, Joshua Drake, and I thought he was going to be here tonight.
Thought so too.
Well, anyway, we can I'll verify that with him. So if not, I'll troll on the list for a volunteer. Let's see, anything else to do with BLUG? Okay, so let's move on to LFNW business. Finances.
Oh, Mike has just a couple of short things.
What's that?
Mike has just a couple of short things.
Oh, okay. Mike, you want to do your announcements first?
Yeah, a couple quick announcements. OSCON, still no word yet on a nonprofit pavilion. They've signed up a lot of exhibitors. They've even, they're ahead of where they were last year. Almost all their exhibitors have booths assigned already. I have sent them a couple emails inquiring about the nonprofit pavilion. No word yet. If I don't hear from them in another couple of weeks, I'm going to give them a phone call. Second, for those who are interested, the organizers of Scale did a Reddit AM8 this afternoon. So search around for that. You should be able to find that. Some interesting commentary there. And that was it.
I didn't understand what you said they did.
There was a Reddit AMA, Ask Me Anything. That's where they go online and field questions in real time online. So there was Ilan and Larry Capiero and 2 or 3 other of the Scale organizers were online.
Did you attend that, or?
I paid attention to it kind of off and on during the afternoon. Is anybody going down to Scale this year?
No.
I will be going.
You will?
Yes. So I can report back on what it was like.
When is that?
Next week.
Next week?
Yep.
Scale?
Yep.
Oh, that's right. Jesus, I forgot. Indeed.
That it?
That's it.
Okay, thanks, Mike. So, let's see, I'll proceed with the finances. Since the last meeting, we had 2 gold sponsors pay, Linode and Puget Systems. We have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gold sponsors that have committed.
What's our total? What's our total? I mean, how many can we support?
We can support 8, I believe, right, on the floor?
Yeah.
8 sponsors?
Yes.
Yeah. We haven't had a real land rush on sponsorships yet, so we'll just keep pounding the pavement and
Has anyone reached out to send to us?
see what happens.
Sent to us?
Yeah, they expressed interest last year, but they didn't find out until it was too late.
Keep talking?
Yeah. Who expressed interest?
The lead dev of CentOS.
Oh, CentOS?
Yep.
Do you have a email contact for him?
No, I just ran into him on IRC.
Yeah, well, if we can find a way, we can certainly send something to him.
Okay, I'll see what I can do.
Okay.
Would I don't know. CentOS is now part of Red Hat too, isn't it?
Yeah, it's part of Red Hat now.
So it's based on Red Hat. But
Yeah, it's supported by Red Hat. It's not part of.
No, I
no,
mean, Red Hat
they
acquired them.
acquired it.
Okay.
So I don't know. The only question I would have there is, I mean, it'd be good. Well, you said it was last year, Kevin.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because yeah, they acquired CentOS January of last year, and I figured that they would just have the Fedora guys and the unified marketing team. But if there was external interest, like specific on that project, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'll reach out to him.
Okay.
I did call Faith Life, and I talked to the woman there. I can't remember her name now, but she didn't get back to me. She said she actually attended last year, but it's been a month, so I'm not hopeful.
we'll just keep plugging away. So we've had, let's see, we have 2 silver sponsors signed up, and they both paid via PayPal. And that's the only monies that I've received. So hopefully, and they'll, let's see, well, all the other Linode and Puget Systems were the only people that have paid. Second Quadrant, whoever they are, they signed up for a gold sponsorship, and they never followed through with their link, so the complete checkout. Microsoft wants a gold sponsorship, and I haven't heard back from Tara Grum yet. She was struggling with that for a bit. Let's see. I paid our insurance for this year. I'm having the insurance usually comes due at the beginning of April, or actually in the middle of April, just before the fest. And I'm having it changed to renew in February because I need to get a proof of insurance for the whole time period in April, which is part of it's after the renewal date. So it's hard to get them to say you're insured when you haven't paid for the insurance yet. So basically, I paid for that already, which is just a month early, and they're crediting us $53 or something on our next renewal because there's a little bit of overlap there in the renewal policies.
How much was the insurance you paid?
$278. That's for our club and event insurance. So if John hits Andy over the head with his mouse, then she sues
I don't
us-
have a
sues
mouse
us
right now, so
Well, I disarmed you this meeting. But then if Andy sues John or sues us, then we can pay for medical. Anyway, besides the event insurance. Okay, I think, so our balance after all that now is $14,368.49 of operating capital.
So are you saying that Microsoft's only going to do like a gold sponsorship? Not
They're
gonna
going to do a gold sponsorship, and they're going to do the party sponsorship.
Oh, both. Oh, that's good.
They've committed to that. And let's see.
And I got the lanyard over. Our friends at Blackmesh.
What, Jacob?
Our friends at Blackmesh are providing, and Walt would be happy to hear, Blackmesh has lanyards that are what we want.
Yeah, so they should be sending us some lanyards, I think.
Yes, they'll be sending us about 2,000 lanyards, and they
Right.
have J hooks, so we won't have to do what we did last year.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, and Fedora has committed, besides to a gold sponsorship, they've committed to the Friday night board game. And I checked with Red Hat, and we still are in their electronic payment stuff from a couple of fests ago, you know, and they were, so we're cool as far as getting payment that way. They'll do a direct deposit into our account. If we can jump through the shopping cart and get an order. Hey, Jacob.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I copied you in. I think I did. When I talked to a woman named, or emailed a woman named Ruth there at Red Hat.
I think I remember seeing that.
Yeah, she can't complete that order. It has to be Jeff Sandy's, right? Because he's the one that started it.
Correct. Let me see here.
And I told her to give him the PO number, and then as soon as he can do that and follow through with the order process, then I can send her a PDF invoice.
Correct. Yep. She just needs to get him the PO number, and he can complete it, and that should be good.
And the only thing I was wanting to talk to you about the invoices.
Yes.
We need to have a remit to on there. All we have is the name and address of the person that makes the order. So when I send them an invoice, all they get is an invoice with themselves on it. There's nothing, you know, who to remit the payment to.
Okay. Okay. I'll work on that.
Yeah, okay, because you just do Linux Best Northwest and then my address or something.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Let's see. I think. Okay, I think we're all done with finances. So we announced last time we had a new board of director, Lee Falta, from BTC. Call for sponsors, we've done that. Video, Jacob is looking at a couple options. Is that right, Jake?
I can go over that real quick.
He had a good description he sent out to everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Is there anything you want to go over?
Just that we have access to the kits. The question is really a question for Greg. Do you think that there are volunteers that want and can commit to working on that? Because we need 3 or 4 dedicated students who really want to do that.
I've had some conversations with BTC's internal departments that would have resources and skills, and I think we could make that happen. If we could get the raw content, I'm pretty confident that in a week or 2 we could
both do the kind of rough editing and get it uploaded. So I'm going to say yes. I think we can make it happen. I don't have specific names on hook, but I've got all the pieces in place that if we go with that, I think we can make it happen.
Okay, because the process I'm looking at, and maybe it'd be good to have a little meeting with 3 or 4 of these people, because I mean, my plan is that basically we need people to hit start and stop. If we have these kits that can record it, you know, there's nothing really stopping them from being able to upload the videos within 24 to 48 hours. There's not really much editing that has to happen. It's just you know, starting and stopping at the right time.
that's not something I anticipate being able to help out with. And I think for hosting, the timeline I'm looking at,
I think we'll be able to achieve.
What are you talking about with hosting?
Yes,
We're just planning to put it on YouTube.
I'm aware of that, and I think the information I'm giving you is what I can stick with.
Okay, of getting it posted. Okay. Okay. Well, I guess we can. I guess my concern is I would want to make sure if we have these kits available, if they're planning, we'd want to train them on it, and if they want to be trained on them, we can do that. Is that what you're thinking, or are you thinking about doing something else?
I had no information about any kits prior to this. We had talked previously about hosting, but I have not done any looking into actual capture. And that I have no confidence we'd be able to achieve.
You're speaking of the post-production stuff, right?
Post-production, we can do. Capture, I don't think we could do.
So I think
capture is actually the important part that we're looking at.
Well, I think he's sort of dovetailing with the VARVID thing.
Right.
The VARVID wouldn't do post-production, and they would need post-production. So I think, if I'm understanding it, BTC would help with the post-production if they were delivered video.
Right. I guess my concern is that we'd be paying $5,000 to have them come in, capture the video, and then have students within a week or two do post-capture, which is okay, but I'm trying to see if we can figure out a less complex way to do it. I guess I'm not sold on the idea of 80 sessions with multiple cameras and having to do post, that just seems really complex and prone to failure, and that's a lot of money when there's a volunteer component in there. It just brings concerns for me.
So the other alternative is what?
We can either, so there's two alternatives. One, if there are those same 3 or 4 people who are interested in working the capture kits, which essentially is 10 machines one in each room, and then a main machine that has remote desktop, and then you basically start and stop on each one, and then you have runners to make sure everything's working, and then push those to YouTube. That option we can do for free, and then the other option is seeing if we can hire Ryan and them to just come and do it for $5,000. If we go with that option for $5,000, we know at the end of Sunday we'll have all of our sessions posted live.
So for that $5,000, they're going to be the ones doing the remote desktop and pushing things off and on, and
They do everything. So that's my, and I'm not trying to, I mean, they're great guys and I've worked with them before, so that, I mean, I'm trying to get my biases out of there. But if VARVID could do it all in one for $5,000, then I'd say, sweet, let's go with VARVID. But I'm concerned about there being a hiccup and that much money on the line.
Well, and also they would have it produced in 24-hour turnaround time as opposed to 2 weeks too.
Has there been any discussion of recording fewer than 80 sessions, maybe doing 40 sessions, since this will be the first time we've ever done this, not try to do the entire fest?
I mean, we could. The problem is that, I mean, it's not... I think we're going to end up spending a bunch of money anyway for that.
But it should scale. I mean, it's mostly probably man-hour time is the biggest cost.
right.
Well, the biggest problem is it's an order of magnitude for VARVID to do post-production.
Right. So we don't want VARVID to do post-production because it would cost up the yin-yang. So we have BTC as a possibility for that, but it would take some time to do. The other possibility is then doing the thing without post-production where we just upload it directly with these two guys from that have done Drupal stuff before, so they're experienced with, producing lots of videos on short order.
I just sent a link. We just had our Latin America video. Every single video is posted and ended today.
I've seen I've seen the Drupal videos. I don't know if it's theirs, but probably, and they do a good job.
Yeah, if it's
Yeah,
less.
and we saw their whole setup at Amsterdam. They gave us a tour of it. It was pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Jacob, that $5,000, was that including airfare for those guys and everything else? Is that all in one charge?
Let me check.
What equipment do
We would be borrowing the equipment from the Drupal Association.
Yes.
So they have sufficient cameras and PCs and.
They're not doing cameras. They're doing video capture of the overhead projection.
Right. So what are they using for machines, and how do they insert it into the video stream?
It's a laptop, I think, right?
Yeah.
It's a USB plug-in that they use.
So they're USB plug-in to the presenter's machine.
No, they have a basically a shunt that goes between the projector and the output of the presenter's laptop, and then that shunt goes into the USB port of a capturing machine. That capturing machine is then and also they have a microphone audio input to it. That is what is remote desktoped in from a central control room. Each laptop does the recording, and then the remote desktop is the connection to those laptops, and then they just pull those recordings over to their main central machine to do the edit and then put it on YouTube.
So they can shunt VGA, HDMI, composite, and they have laptops for that. Laptops and capture gear for all the rooms. They have that quantity of gear.
That's the question. Well, that's one question. I believe they standardize with VGA or HDMI. Let me see if I can find it here. It's one of those two, but that's what they use. So as long as we have support for one of those two, we should be good.
So they can't support both, they just support one.
They're a different capture card, depending on which one you're using. So if we have ones that are VGA only, we would use the VGA one. If we had ones that are HDMI only, we'd use the HDMI ones. Personally, I'd like to see presentations standardized on one connector, but I know that's not really possible.
No, I think the presenters come with a mix of machines, and they've been using a mix of connections to the the projection systems.
The question I have is, do all the video projection systems support VGA?
The systems in Campus Center will do either VGA or HDMI.
And the ones in, what's the other big building?
Haskell.
Do you remember?
Those I haven't looked at in the last year. There was some work on converting them, so they are either VGA or VGA and HDMI as well.
I seem to remember something about being VGA, and maybe I should go back because we have something in the presenter handbook that says you need to bring a laptop that's able to connect. I believe we actually said VGA because of Haskell.
G103, wasn't it?
What?
I thought it was G103 that was VGA only.
Yeah, we had quite a few presenters last year using HDMI.
Yeah, I think we said that they needed to, but then they used whatever, so.
Well, that's always a lot of them show with the backside no adapters, of course, too, so.
Yeah.
Jacob, let me just ask one question, just to make sure. I think I know the answer, but make sure I do. If someone comes in and they got a laptop that's not going to work with the video capture stuff, you can just bypass it, and it'll just be we won't be able to do that one session. Right?
Correct.
Then we'll still be able to do their presentation. We won't be able to record it.
Yep.
Okay.
So are they putting a wireless mic on the presenter, or what's the audio capture component?
It depends on the room. They've done wireless lavaliers, and then they also have done just podium mics. So Podium mics are probably the best way to go, but yeah, either one.
Yeah, they had both as an option at DrupalCon, or if people wanted to either walk around or if they wanted to sit still.
And do you have the staffing to do that, to be wiring folks up with lobbyists?
Well, we need 2 people. So yeah, so what they did, I think they only had, I think the majority of small classrooms were all podium mics, and then the bigger rooms had the option for a lavier. And then they basically run through and make sure people are set up ahead of time. And it's, yeah, they only need 2, but they're really good at what they do. So, so yeah. In our case, I wouldn't expect 2 students to be able to run this.
How many adapters would we need if we were going to go that route? Because you mentioned also that there's a lot of people on those micro Macs, and they need an adapter too. So it would be a bit of an outlay for adapters, but we could do that if it was all HDMI and people come with 3 different systems.
Well, in the past few years, we've collected up an assortment of Mac adapters so we can accommodate folks who don't bring their own. I mean, every year we tell them what the video standards are, what the resolution, refresh rates, connectors available are, and there's a small percentage that just show up with some random gear. But we can usually accommodate them. So.
Yeah, I think in general, people, a lot of the people, especially this year, since we have a fairly high caliber of proposed sessions. My hope is that most of those people have actually spoke before. I've seen them speak other places, and most of those people have the correct adapters to do VGA or HDMI. But so as far as like going forward, what do we want to lean towards doing? I mean, do we want to check again to see if one, we need to make sure that that Ryan and them are still available. It's starting to get relatively late, so I mean that's probably first priority. And if so, do we make a call to do that, or do we want to just go with a different? Do we want to go with Barvid, or what do we want to do? What's our option 1, 2, and 3 basically?
Well, I think certainly we need to make a decision quickly, as you're right. It's getting close, and we need to start firming up some of these things.
Could we learn from like other fests or other events where people have recorded them and see how much traffic there is subsequently?
How much traffic for like view it?
Yeah, how many people view them?
Drupal probably has that information because they pull a lot of them.
Probably do. But I mean, in any case, we're planning on putting it to YouTube, so they should, have plenty of capacity to. We're not.
What I wasn't so much worried about. I was thinking in terms of making the decision now.
Oh, about how important it is.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I don't know. That's a good question. I
Is
know.
It something we could ask Scale? Did they put this stuff up?
I don't think they put up a few sessions from years past. They've never succeeded in being able to record all of their sessions and post them online. There was some talk about it in the AMA this afternoon, and I don't remember exactly what they said. I'll reread that. But so far they've not succeeded in doing it regularly like some of the more specialized conferences. Like for some reason Ruby conferences, all the Ruby conferences get recorded. And all the O'Reilly stuff. And I don't know whether if it's a question of budget or not. Like all the Ruby stuff seems to get recorded by Concretes, who gave me a really high quote, but they've been getting a lot of business. So some of these conferences seem to have much larger operating budgets.
So for number of views on YouTube, there's the Latin America stuff that was just posted today, I think a couple of hours ago. That conference was only 270 people, and they've got 40 views, 60 views, and that's just from a few hours. So I think we'd get a good number of views.
just to go back, like the Amsterdam keynote that they did in October had 2,600 views. And other conversations, Portland 2013, 2,400, regular non-keynotes in the 1,700s. So figure we would be, in the probably 500 to 1,000 views per video. But I think the other big thing that this would help us do is show the Linux Fest brand out. I think it would really show the caliber of presentations that we have and help bring more people to the fest. So
Yes, I can see that.
And it is increasingly becoming like a standard thing for most conferences. I mean, a few conferences don't, but it seems like they're like the exception these days. And I know I'm currently digging my way through the LinuxConf Australia videos, and there's 100 of them or something like that. And so they do all their talks at every LinuxConf Australia for the last few years. I haven't looked at the viewer stuff, but
So it's sounding increasingly like it's something really worth doing. The real question is, how do we approach it this time or going forward? And
I think that
doing it at a
the other
smaller
thing.
scale.
The other thing is, I mean, we talked about a sponsor. I mean, $5,000 is a lot out of our budget. Are we willing to just put that up without a sponsor, or do we need a sponsor? I mean, looking at the money guy.
It's up to you guys. I mean, we could spend everything on, or be really frugal and, it's up to you guys how you want to spend the money.
I mean, if we spend the 5,000, do we have, enough for fronting the party and all the expenses we need?
Yeah, at this point we do, because we had a nice rollover from last year. Last year we couldn't have done it. We only had 4,000 to start with, and we were in the hole. Almost bounced checks at the end of the conference. So we're in better shape this year. So it's up to you guys really what you want to spend the money. What's your priority?
I have a hard time with spending 5,000 on
Yeah,
this.
I do too.
It's a third of the budget.
I mean, there's going to be money we need for, name tags. That's always really pricey, and
Schedules are pricey.
I don't know.
Not that we're in a position to do it, this time or that, but usually if you're posting these kinds of things up, it's a, the kind of thing where you're going to have some sort of standard production that brands it as being part of Linux Fest, and if it's done tastefully, it's an awfully great opportunity to get some sponsors to do pay for the video capture so that they can have over in the the corner that courtesy of such and such, and it's kind of hard for me to see with $5,000 sounds like an awful lot of money to plop down to do.
And was the Drupal one $5,000?
That's their fee for coming out. I don't know. Jacob, you remember any memory about whether they want expenses? I'm sure they do.
Yeah, there's expenses. Let me see where.
The advantage of bringing them out as opposed to doing it ourselves is they have the experience.
Sure.
We might not need them.
I'm all for that.
We might not need them next year. We might decide it's so easy.
Yeah, so it's $4,500 for the two of them plus travel and rooms. So it'd be about $5,000. We can get a room because we have a few rooms in the block that should be available. But yeah, we'll be right around 5,000. And that was the reason why I sort of wanted them to come out, at least for first year, is because we need someone with experience, I think. And I think we've lost. Did we lose people?
No. No. Yeah, it looks like we lost Bill and maybe John.
Bill is frozen. Can anyone hear? Guess
The Wi-Fi is really off, so that could be lost.
I wonder if they know. They're disconnected.
I just think we're being really quiet.
I'm gonna move the fan down. Bill, John? Nope.
Call them?
Yeah. I guess we lost. I guess we lost. What happened? Okay. Wow. Yeah. People here. I'm going to low bandwidth mode as well. Okay, is this working better? I think it was Kevin's connection that's caused there. You guys lose your Wi-Fi? Okay. Yeah, I'm here. I can put you on speakerphone until we get that back.
Okay. Let me put you on speakerphone here.
Can you all hear? Well, let them talk. Yeah. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Okay, keep talking. What's up? I can barely hear you. Say again? Oh, we posted something up, but I've not found any sponsors for video. And I guess the question I have is what balance did we come out with last year? I felt like between last year and this year, the amount that we've fundraised is more than enough to do this if we feel like it's a good mission as part of the expanding the fest. I would love to see a sponsor, but I'm not sure if that's, the question is, do we need to find a video sponsor? The problem is that I think we have a catch-22 here, and we may need to take it on ourselves before we get one. Or by the time one shows up, it might be too late to make it work. Yeah, I mean, I think we have an opportunity to try it. We've sort of punted on it for 10 years. I mean, we can punt on it again, but I think at the end of the day, video's gotten to a point where, it's doable. I think beforehand, we were looking at $30,000 or even $20,000 to do something. That just wasn't possible. But we have an opportunity, and it would be nice to give it a shot. Sorry, I can't hear anything anyone is saying. So, are you guys still off Wi-Fi? Damn.
Yeah, I can't hear him at all either.
Yeah, I can't hear a word. It's just a one-sided conversation.
I can't hear you. I mean, I think they might be a little bit. I would presume it might be less. It's probably not half less. Um, and we still have the post processing, which we can do in 2 weeks, which is, as Emily said, unfortunate. I mean, I understand. Problem is, I still feel like that's. I don't think it'll fail necessarily, but I have concerns. So.
I would say I prefer us to not do video post-production with volunteers unless they have a major interest in it and a ton of experience with post-production.
Sorry, so Emily said that yeah, she doesn't think that we should do video with volunteers unless they're willing to really unless there's a real drive effort shown on their part to want to do it. And I yeah, so yeah, I mean, the other option that's cheaper is finding 3 or 4 people in the community that are willing to basically give up the weekend to record. If we found that, then it wouldn't cost us any money. I'm not going to do that because I can't. But if we could find just 3 or 4 other people who would be willing to. That would solve the problem. I guess the thing I'm worried about is I would like this to work. I'd like this to actually like happen, and that means bringing probably professionals in. I mean, we could do a few sessions. We've done that in the past, but it would be nice to have something that's really nice. I'm not too worried about sponsors, mainly because. You know, it's just February, and we have more sponsors now than we've had, you know, usually. We're way ahead of schedule, so I guess I'm not as concerned about that. But yeah.
I've got a question.
Go ahead, Emily.
Would the people doing the recording have to be associated with Linux Fest, or could they be associated with, say, the TV station in Bellingham?
Well, what TV station? There's not really a TV station.
I thought there was.
No, and I mean.
Okay, a few years ago, a friend of mine interned there. That's why I'm wondering.
Okay.
She was doing video production work.
So.
I don't know. It might be worth it to contact them to see if they have people who would be willing to come out and do this for the experience.
Yeah, I don't know. There might be. So I guess we can, at the end of the day, if we want to use the kits, we can use the kits. And if we don't have enough people, like if we don't have volunteers to run the kits, then we don't do it. Or if we only have enough to do a few shows, we can do it as a proof of concept.
Are you
until next year, but.
Are you sure that they'll loan out the kits without the people who are normally in charge of running them?
Well, they do rent them out to open source events, so yes. And since you and I are there, yes. Yeah. They rented them out to PNWDS too, so. Sorry, so I guess we can punt this. If 5,000 is something that the group doesn't want to spend, then those options aren't options then. Sorry, you'll have to recap whatever to the group here. I mean, the people who volunteer for the kits, we have to have, I would probably say 3 or 4, that are dedicated the whole entire time. So Saturday morning all the way through Sunday, that's all they do. Yeah. You guys still have no internet at all? You guys still don't have internet? Okay. So I think we're going to end up having to stop the recording because it sounds like their internet is out.
Well,
Let me see if we can. I guess I can go over my other updates online, and then we can sign off here.
okay.
Does that work for those on the phone here?
It works for me.
Yeah. Bill, I can hear you when you talk into the phone, but that's it.
Ooh, I almost heard him.
When you talk into the phone, not speakerphone.
Jacob?
Yeah.
I got terrible.
Can you guys hear him?
Barely, but not real well.
Yeah, just a few words.
Yeah, I heard partial words, I think.
Okay. Bill?
Yeah.
Okay, you can hear it. Okay, go ahead with your next. So the consensus then is that we're going to try to find volunteers.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna go. Yeah. And find.
What if we do find a video sponsor soon? Then we would switch to a paid video service.
Yeah.
Okay. So there you go, Emily. Find a sponsor for us.
Alright, I'll get on that.
I'll talk to my friend about her internship and see what she has to say about it. Because I'm pretty sure it was with a local TV station.
Okay. Okay, so next item then, Bill, keep going then.
So whether it's something else or so, I'd like to get the specifics of possible estimates so we can do it.
Oh, no.
I can't hear. Is that Greg?
Yeah.
Okay. You're fading in and out there.
What I'm looking for is some kind of detail, traffic, and something we can for capacity. See if we can do.
You're talking about for video?
Correct.
Okay. At the hotel or at the convention center, so video is captured locally. So it sounds like the bandwidth that they really need is RDP, basically, VNC, or the ability to connect to the remote desktop.
Well, whatever.
Sorry?
So whatever.
Are you guys still on speakerphone?
Speakerphone.
Yeah, the speakerphone doesn't work.
Jacob, I think the speakerphone on your end is feeding back to the Google Hangout, so you're getting terrible looping.
Is doing what with Google Hangouts? Are you on Google? You're not on Google Hangouts, though, right? Good. Okay, now I can hear you fine. Oh. Are you okay? You're still not on speaker?
Yeah.
Okay, because I can hear you good now.
Yeah, we might just get some weirdness, but I'm getting terrible loop on myself right now.
Ah, okay. Let me. Okay, is that better? Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Great. Okay. So the last thing I was saying is, whenever they've got those networks and the output their systems, if you just have them shoot me a copy of that, we'll be good to go.
Whatever network requirements they need. Yeah, it's just RDP basically. Oh, okay, sounds good. Yes, it's actually being updated as we speak. So when it comes back, when they get back from Latin America, we're supposed to review that. I have a schematic that I think actually Bill and John, you guys should have that too. That shows how it's set up. Yeah, I can forward that again to you though. Yeah, like back in November. Okay. Yeah, let me send this again. They were giving us advice on if we wanted to build our own. I'll just send it to the org list. Okay. And there we go. Okay, sent. Oh, hey, Greg's on. We have internet on the phone. Can I? Does this actually work, Greg?
Jacob, I'm going to see if I can get my cell phone on Google Hangouts here.
Okay, I'm going to hang up and see if we can talk. Well, Greg was here a second.
It looks like he's gone again.
Okay, we'll talk in a moment, Bill. Okay, you're going to get on Hangout?
I'm going to try.
Okay, sounds good. All right, bye. I guess we need to find... Hey, James, is there any good places in Bellingham with reliable internet? Sorry, what was that? Oh, you're muted. There we go. There.
Is that why nobody's listening to me? He had me muted.
Sorry.
I was
see
wondering if you were talking to people.
Jacob, can you call Bill's phone from Hangouts?
I
know you can on a normal one. I just don't know if you can on air.
I can call me Skype and type it through.
No, there's actually a way for a phone to dial into a Hangout.
Really? Q&A.
Yeah, Arthur, he'll get notifications for Google Hangouts soon.
I don't see it on air. Let me try this. Oh, Greg? Nope. Yep.
We gained Greg. Oh no.
Oh, it's the
Chipmunk.
Chipmunk Greg. Oh, we get Chipmunk Greg. Okay, hey Bill, I have an idea. I don't know if you can hear us, but I'm going to try something here. This will be fun to see the recording later on. Hilarious. Okay, let's see if this works. Hey, Bill.
Yeah.
Can you hear us?
What?
Can you hear us?
Can I what?
That would be a no.
Can you hear all of it?
You can't hear us, can you?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay. We can all hear you now. I piped you through Skype.
Okay. Let me put it on speakerphone.
Okay.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hello?
Yep. We can hear you.
Oh, it went off speakerphone. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay. So, okay, we resolved the videoing the presentations so far. Yeah, we decided to use a group of 50 volunteers, cost-free, and we will continue to attempt to find funds. And somebody is in charge. Sorry. Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
Again, you were going to send a copy, resend a copy to John, and you can send a copy to Leland too with a schematic.
I sent it to the org list, the conversation that we had.
I didn't catch it. You can send it on the org list. Oh, okay, on the org list. Okay. The old technology. Work at the safety, but I don't, okay, so hotels, we have the Hampton all booked with a custom website for registration for Access attendees. And Jacob is going to restore the hotel page of all the two other hotels that I accidentally deleted when I was sharpening my HTML. So
and
you're going to do that, right, Jake?
Yeah, and I forced revisions, so now that shouldn't be able to happen again.
Okay. So can you see the hotel site the way it looks for the Hampton right now?
I see the link, yes.
So Linux Test attendees. For some reason, that other link I don't know what was wrong with it, but it wasn't resolving correctly. It would give a can't find a page error. So I did a little redoing on it, and that's what I came up with.
Okay.
Food trucks. Greg? There's been no progress on that. You know, BTC its statement is no, we don't really have anything to tell them otherwise. We have, so yeah, the food trucks are really nowhere. We did have a meeting, John Blanford and Bill and I, to talk to the chef. Actually, I'm sorry, not talk to the chef, talk with the Director of Enterprise Services about the food service, what we got worked and didn't work. Shared the survey data with him. He had some ideas on how to diversify the offerings now that he's got a year of experience under his belt. And is going to give us a proposal for something a little different than last year. We would still, the proposal would still include a buffet, but also include a more, Bill, how is this? A more premium option that would be served out of the scramble area. Kind of it would be mostly kind of pre-prepared, that be a more upscale entree, plated entree, and then also is going to be putting a lot more food, pre-made sandwiches, salads, and things, and enhancing what's in the bake shop as well. So there's a proposal back. We're still waiting to see the final kind of numbers on that. So it's kind of a three-part offering to try to hit the spread of price and desire a little bit more. So we'll see what that looks like. So Jacob, did you catch that? The BTC said no on the food trucks. We had Ben Greg organized a meeting with John and I to talk to the guy, and without repeating everything that Greg said, we're going to have three different options.
Yeah,
basically.
sorry. I think we all heard it, right? Yeah,
what?
I'm getting nods. We heard Greg.
Okay, good.
Again, I think, well, let's see what those options are, and then we can take it from there.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we really don't know until we see confirmed the proposal. You know, even just brainstorming at the meeting. So when we get something, we'll put it on the list.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know what else, does anybody else have any stuff like presentations, and Greg has a couple things? Yeah. Yeah, we blocked the new business. Shall I go? Yeah. All right. So two items. The first, one of my students is been talking to me about an idea. He's very excited about the new Steam OS. I know frighteningly little about this. Supposedly this is open source. Correct me if I'm wrong. But he's interested in contacting Steam and seeing if they'd like to act in some sort of sponsorship role with the game den, which I think would be terribly exciting if, in fact, that could happen. But with the group's permission, I'd love to either stick him on Steam, or if anybody has any contacts with Steam, see if we can see if they'd like to share any software hardware with us out of that system and participate in the game den. If we can make a contact with Steam, more power to. I mean, that's last year we tried numerous folks to even have a foot in the door and new developers at Steam, and we could not get. I think it was Gabe Newell, was the guy, the big shot there. He's spoken around the country about Steam OS, and they're really counted it for a couple of years now. And we couldn't get anybody to say, boom, yes, no, maybe. So if we can do something, I'd say go for it.
Okay, I'm going to stick him on it, and you know he may get nowhere, but
as long as we're not stepping on toes, and that's something else within process. But I'd be willing to let it run. It comes out of it. Yeah, Linux is basically, a mirror version of Linux. I don't know what distribution is probably. Yeah, that's really cool. All right, that was doing good. Yeah. All right. Well, I said last meeting that I would. Last meeting I was at. Last meeting, sometime in the past. I said that I would make some runs at the floor plan to produce some discussion points. I sent out an email to the org list earlier today with 3 plans for the folks here. I'll pass around those now. There's a version 1, a version 2, and a version 3. They're marked in very small print, and the version number in the legend.
Yeah.
And those of you teleconferencing may want to look at those electronically while we talk. I'll just run through all 3 differentiators and kind of say what I'm working on, and then we can use that at the point of discussion. So starting with version 1, this is what we did last year, essentially unchanged. This was last year's layout, which well, so it was a very small print there, V1, V2, V3. V3 is still working its way around there. I think I'll set the V3 back. Is this
Sorry, we're looking at V1. That's last year's, right?
Yes, we're going to start with V1.
Yep.
All right, so V1 is last year, just as a point of reference. It had some good sides. It was less space filling than I think some people felt it filled less the space than we could fill. That we had more demand, or rather that we could accommodate more demand with the space we have. Okay, so anyway, so then 2 alternative possibilities that I sketched out. V2 is different in that the booths, the 10 by 10 booths, instead of facing out, face each other, and then changing spacing a little bit to put not 1 central row of tables, but 2 central rows. So instead of the 1 row of tables at the end, then we'll have 2 rows of tables, one on the outside of each. So the idea here is kind of twofold. A number of the gold sponsors expressed to me that at other events there's kind of a premium area where they kind of face each other, and some expressed to me they didn't like facing out. They would have rather faced each other and kind of create a central area where the premium sponsors were. So okay, I was thinking about that. I sort of like the feel of it personally, but that's neither here nor there. Also, I felt last year that central aisle was kind of forlorn, had a forlorn feeling to it.
It was.
So this was a shot at addressing that. One of the things we did here, although we did it also in V3, is that the tables that are outside the booths do have blue curtain wall to their back, which is nice to give them the ability to hang something. So that could potentially make that a more premium space than we used to for in the past. We had the community booths in the central aisle with the blue back wall. We could shoot for other kinds of vendors, but it really depends. If they bring a booth setup of their own stuff, then they're not going to care about that. But if they want to hang something behind them, very difficult to hang it on the walls of that space, but easy to hang it on the curtain walls. All right, V3 is much like V1, like what we did last year, but changing the spaces to push the walls outside and give us 2 rows of tables in the field. So more tables, and in this drawing, 6 more tables, and slightly smaller aisleways, but I think still workable. One last thing, on either V2 or V3, it would be possible with our spacing to push those curtain booths towards the back or the front of the exhibit hall. I guess I think it's stage area at the front. Push them either way, and then add a couple of tables to the end of a row, either row, which could conceivably add another 4 tables, giving us a net increase of 10 tables. I need to find 10 tables, make sure we have 10 tables more, but I think we've got space for it. So none of these are, kind of like, this is what we could do. I think we've got flex to do in these, but these are kind of 2 ideas for discussion, and I'll open it to comment.
I would be too. I also like the idea of pushing for a little bit towards back, but not create getting create space for people to stand or relax.
Yep. I think that's what Emily and I are thinking too.
I have one concern. The area around Jupiter Broadcasting's booth gets really packed. And I don't know what we can do about that, but it was difficult to get through at certain times of the day.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was Jupiter signed up again? Yeah. Where were they located?
They're T12 and T13 or T13.
Yeah. We should even consider making them. Well, I don't know if we want to do this. We typically have the yard sale right next to us, but they could be T3, 2, 3, 4, or even T7, T8, potentially.
And they have a media sponsor, right?
They have a community sponsor right now.
Okay. And the other option with them is to possibly.
You could do it and you just change the sponsorship to media if you want.
Yeah, I think I would be. I don't think we want to put them near the raffle booth for a few reasons. They also have a lot of equipment.
They do.
One part that came to mind was, we had a lot of room. It felt like back in the back, and if we move the tables back a little bit, I guess we'll lose some of that room. But maybe having them having a space so that like T21 or T20 might be a good option.
Any other thoughts about the various plans here?
I just kind of understand this. But last year the back was from here.
Correct.
And on this one, the back is here.
Correct.
This one here, are they in the center?
This one, they're facing the booth facer, so it's the curtain wall here, curtain wall here.
Version 3, they're facing the same way they did last
year. Yes. Okay. So the curtain wall is towards the
Gotcha.
center.
Personally, I vote for V2.
Yeah, that was the anecdotal information I got from them. I've got a bias towards it just because I think it's cool, kind of create that space. But, it's got to work for everybody. I think any of these are workable. I thought last year was even great. So I think we can only go up whatever we do.
I like the idea of the gold sponsored spacing information. Yeah. So it's in
Yeah. Right. I played with some other options too, like what's drawn on V2 as T34 and T35. That could be omitted, and then booth 1 could be set up with a low wall on the back, so that when you walk into the hall, it's more visible. You know, if whoever we put T34, T35, I think we want them to be somebody who's aesthetically pleasing, bringing some nice booth equipment.
Yeah, we'd want to have a silver hopefully there.
And maybe one of the stores who's got an advertising budget. Well, last year we had, in E1, we had sushi. Well, James always looks good. They have a nice little lounge area. It's pretty nice. Unfortunately, right next to them is Microsoft. And we can take it. We got D5 and Microsoft.
We have
Yeah. Oh, I thought they were okay. So does anybody have a feel about the total number of additional tables we're wanting to add? Do we have a number that we want to shoot for to fix the right number? Version 2 or 3 at 6, but we can play with that. I mean, we can do different things here.
Well, I like version 2 because it allows us to take out, you know, we can take out 4 booths. We can take out 34, 35, 28, and 29 if we don't fill them. If we fill them, great. But, you know, if we don't, they go away and we have 2 more premium gold spots.
Yeah, we have, right now we have 22 community sponsors, potential, and I know Jupiter wants 2 booths. You know, it makes the best case scenario if we have 6 more silver sponsors if we could sell them. Otherwise, we could get 6 more communities. I know we've got a few inquiries that haven't turned down. Then we can also double up some of the community sponsors too, like we did last year.
Yeah. It'll be interesting how this year goes because, you know, honestly, with the amount of interest we've had, I'm hoping that we can, you know, some community sponsors have definitely been more good, and some of them have been sort of not. So if we can improve the quality of them, that'd be awesome.
Really? All right. Any change? Well, okay. So I did hear a suggestion that you go ahead and push the booths and tables in the central section towards the back, or that would be up in the diagram, to make sure we get kind of a maximum space towards the stage for openness during the raffle. Is that?
Yep.
Okay. And then move Jupiter Broadcasting to either T20, T21, or some other location.
Yep.
Is that easy to do with the network?
Yeah, giving Jupiter Broadcasting a corner would probably be a good idea.
Yeah, I was suggesting T7, T8, or T3, T4 because those spaces are larger. There's more room behind to accommodate their equipment. You know, the only problem with that is that last year we had like a ton of those sponsor bags, and we were having volunteers that went on teachers, and you know, at T6, I guess it would be T6K, and so do you think that might run into a lot of traffic, a lot of noise? We also, one thing Jupiter wants to do also is get a room. Get a dedicated room. So they can do interviews, show, so then they minimize some.
Yeah,
They want to
meeting at the table.
Yeah, they want to do that.
Great, that's a great idea.
Well, certainly, we should have one on the office. We have a stand stuff. Well, we could use one of the conference spaces on the breezeway. Or
yeah, that's what I was thinking. Use the breezeway.
I think they've given us the idea of type drag a bunch down to the private party that they try to ask. How much space did they say? How big a space they're looking for? Did they want to like a whole classroom or just a small room? Yeah, they do more interviews right on the floor. But they wanted to, they could have like a presentation. Oh, but more classes. Yeah. When they do their show, not just the music, they actually okay, so I'll proceed down that road towards V2. I'll play with how tight I can squeeze up that back wall. You know, I'm trying to keep some pretty big aisleways so that traffic would flow well, but I can squeeze that back some. And then I'll shoot that out to you all. And I believe that's all I had. Presentation. Do you guys have any idea what you're doing? That's the presentation.
Yeah, I sent out an email, but I didn't get any response back about when to meet. Is there?
We were thinking about this Wednesday. You guys available at 7?
You mean the 18th?
Yeah.
Damn. That no. I have a meeting actually at the exact same time. Does Tuesday? What about Tuesday?
Yeah. Tuesday will work.
Okay. Tuesday at 7.
Okay. Good.
Actually, can we do Tuesday at 6:30? Can we move it up a little bit? Because it's gonna be a long meeting.
Yeah, that works for me.
Okay.
Can you get there by 6:30? What are you guys going to need? We're going to be over at our house. So, them in on. I have internet. That works.
That's good. Internet would be good. Yes.
Okay. Hey, Jacob?
Yeah.
Relentlessly, I'm pursuing you getting the legal plus label on the encryption of speech to the ACLU.
Yep, I have you on there. Yep.
Okay, because I really want that to show up on the website so I can show that to the ACLU.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, I did that. Okay, great.
We don't have any big name speakers. We have a lot of speakers, and they're all noteworthy. We don't have any keynote type speakers, but I still haven't heard back from Miguel Garvey. He was supposed to get back to me, and I paid him. I could put him another changes to make sure that he was the only guy that I really had a line on. I turned that guy down this year, so we couldn't get funding to bring him out. So I wondered if you tell me any sponsor, but I kind of felt, I think you just sent my email to Dale Null and saying.
So I have two potentials. I need to communicate back and ask Angie again. But Angie Byron from the Drupal, from Webchick from Drupal, she works at Acquia and she's a pretty well-known person, at least in the Drupal community, and fairly well-known in other open source areas. She was on the top of like Linux Magazine and a few other things. And then the other one, actually, to James's suggestion, we mentioned the testing, Sauce Labs. My friend Adam, who some of you may remember, he was actually the guy who brought me to the first BLUG meeting. Him and I came when we were 15. He's actually he's the CTO of Sauce Labs. And so I've been talking with him this week to see if he might be interested in coming up and giving a talk. That would be pretty cool. They're a pretty big company, and they're around basically doing automated testing for all devices whatever you're whatever you're trying to test. So that would be pretty cool. And I think if we have any other people, they're not really. I don't feel like they're subject to the cutoff. I mean, if we bring in people, we can bring them in at any time. But we need to find them first.
Okay, yeah, so I talked to Angela Brown from the Linux Foundation, and she was going to work on somebody. I haven't heard back from her yet. So if they came up with somebody, I mean, we're talking people that were going to pay their transportation and give them a comp room, right? This is the,
yeah.
Those are the kind of people we're talking about.
Yeah. Oh, and the other one, I was gonna, Michael Inman from the Oatmeal I guess he went to Scale. It would be interesting because he lives in Seattle. I wonder if he'd be interested in coming to Linux Fest. Matt Inman.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm very. If you have some connection with him, Jacob, why don't you shoot one across his bow?
I'll see what I can do. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, but yeah, I don't have anyone else off the top of my head, so.
Okay, well, we're still working on that. Yeah. So, why don't we work on, for the next month, work on getting some more sponsors. If you can think of anybody to approach and get some paid sponsors, and then, at the last minute, like around the beginning of April, I guess. I don't know how soon you guys want to have that work plan solidified, but we can open it up to community sponsors again with the huge tables. We don't sell them.
I really wouldn't open up the table until, I mean, maybe at the last. I would not open it up quite yet, or not for a while.
Okay, and are you guys going to add a sponsored page or two there? I don't know if everybody's seen the new website, the new look of the website that Emily has been working on. Looks pretty nice. We can't look at it now, of course, because our internet's down, but I was wondering, I noticed you had the gold sponsors there on the front page. Oh, I don't know what we're going to talk about, but anyway, a sponsor page, number one. Are we going to build a sponsor page where we can have individual pages for the sponsors, and also a page we can show off all the sponsors, so we can, somebody can scroll down and see all the sponsors?
Yep, it's already up, 2015/sponsors.
It's in the main menu, too.
Yep.
Okay, good. The other thing I was going to ask, we needed to talk about, is we had one proposal for a gold sponsorship. And they wanted to know if they could advertise or have a room to do the LPI certification training classes, not the certification part from what I understand, but they would offer certification training classes which they would charge for. They offered us a 20% kickback on whatever their fees were, but I'm really not up to that. But if we could do that and link on the front page to their offering, or basically to sign up for those classes, they would buy a gold sponsorship. It was one course source.
Yeah.
Who was gold sponsor last year. So I talked with John about this, and we both kind of thought it was something we could really bring up to the org group and see if we wanted to do that, or would that be something that we didn't want Linux Fest to be involved with at all, or
so
you guys feel about it?
Real quick, there is a precedent we have had. One course source or someone else has done a paid session before. It was probably like 06 or 07. But they didn't have a whole room. They did it in the basically they did it all Sunday afternoon in a room. Like they had the last 3 hours. So they've done that before.
That was a certification exam.
Yes.
Yeah.
My first question actually, is Greg still there?
Yeah.
Are we presuming we have all the same rooms as last year? We haven't really talked about that yet.
Yeah.
Okay, and no new rooms.
Well, there was some debate on whether or not we'd be using Haskell or not. Well, we are going to have a Postgres track because they're promoting time, so we're using Postgres room.
Yeah, I think we're going to need the extra room.
We're going to need a Jupyter broadcasting room, a Postgres room. If we do this, we'll need a LPI training room.
And well, I'm hoping Jupyter Broadcasting might be able to just take over one of the conference rooms because they're usually not really utilized. But the question, because I know room 239 we used last year for storage, and I presume we'll want to use that again. And if we can up the size, the capacity of 200 and 208, I think it is, across from your room, Greg, that would give us a few more larger rooms. But because we don't have the rooms downstairs, the big room downstairs, because we have the expo hall bigger, I think we really do need G103 or 4, the big room in G building, and then we need 108 still.
So is 108 the only place we're looking for in Haskell?
So we needed 108 and 10. We had 108 and 112. I'm just bringing up last year's list here.
We have not. I should have thought that was me. But if I remember correctly, we did not use 201 for the tier. We used 203 and 202. One for the tutorial and one for the game bin.
We.
Permanent central pin. Yeah. You're seeing that classroom. Four seeing that classroom. So we could use, maybe we could do more with storing tables in 201 and 206. Free up that business classroom that's full of computers.
206, the hardware lab?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that would allow, maybe, I'm assuming they're going to want a computer classroom, but we don't not. But I don't know, I haven't been specification yet. Wondering if you go for the field. Oh, sure, right? Yeah. So one of the things we have to be sure, Jacob, if I reply to them, yeah, I'm going to go for it. You know, they want a lot of lead time to advertise that this is available and that people can sign up and purchase the class through their website. So we need to be able to put a button on the home page of the Linux Linux Test website pretty quickly. I mean, it couldn't be a last minute thing.
Well, no, I mean, if they put their sponsorship up, I would say put their link to wherever it is, and that's, as soon as they have that link, it's up, so that's easy to do.
Okay.
The question I have here is, I'm looking at Haskell, and sorry, oh, damn it, I put the wrong things in there. So Haskell, shit. Oh, there it is. Okay, Haskell first floor. So we had 108, 103, and 112. Room 104 we thought we had, but we didn't. and basically 103 and 104 were used for. I have CO comp. I don't know what CO comp was.
I remember last year. I apologize. I didn't come prepared to talk about those issues. I didn't have any records with me, but just working from memory, my memory is last year we didn't use them.
Well, no,
that we maybe used only one of them. Was it rather reserved because you know flexibility for what kind of presentations we have? Well, yeah, I have to go back and check and see what we reserved because the reservations need to happen about 6 months ago. So whatever I did 6 months ago is what we got.
Okay.
So, 6 months ago. So, yeah.
and we need to know that before Tuesday's meeting.
Yeah, I'll dust that off tomorrow and follow up on what we did. You know, we had the conversation shortly after our last meeting, and I went out and did the reserving work. I just don't recall off the top of my head what that is, but I do have records of it, and I can also double check the space administration records on campus and see what they've got it down for, but I just don't have it off the top of my head.
Okay. Do you want me to? You have what you guys reserved last year, right? So you don't need me to send you what I have here?
No, I mean we have what we have at this point, and I just can't tell you what that is.
Okay, that sounds good. Great.
On the issue class like that, and you then you need to involve from whatever like that. Maybe you know, you let them, you know, launch this donation fund from them, and however they want to calculate that to figure out a donation they want to make to us. That's their case. But you know, if they want to come forward with, you know, with money to help out the best, and hey, find your table donation that we can receive it that way. I just. That way, we're not involved with their commercial endeavor. Yeah, it's not calculated off of some formula. Yeah. It sounds like, you know, we need some sort of like one of our sponsors to offer more. Yeah. And the Linux fund is doing the same thing. Yeah. They're offering class, paid class. So, you know. Yeah, it's a great idea. And, handled it that way, then I don't think it's kind of confusion about finding that if they come up, if they make a donation to us, don't make a donation, that's kind of up to them. But it seems like a fund might come in that way. Might be able to do some of these other things that we're interested, like video stuff. Maybe not this time, but another.
I think Zion holds off. They're always buying gold stuff.
Yeah, they're going to buy gold sponsorship if you go ahead and hold the class. They sweeten the deal and we can give us 20%. I think it's.
And if we're making donations, fine.
Yeah, yeah. It depends on how successful they are. Last year they said there were a whole lot of people interested in it, but it was too short notice for them to pull it off because people would come up to their booth and go, wow, it's beautiful, you know. Yeah, let's keep the class.
So one proposal that one proposal we could do, because Scale and Ohio and other places do this. Most fests do a training on Friday, and I'm not saying we do that for many reasons. But yeah, I think it's not abnormal. We could even take it one step further. If one course source had pricing and whatnot, you know, we have the ability during registration to be able to have people register for these events. I'd have to get in contact with him, but we could do that if that's something they wanted to pursue and something we wanted to do.
Another layer of complexity and financial obligation and complexity on our part with them. They just want to do it themselves and just have our blessing, and they'll do all the promoting, and we'll do what we can to point people in the right direction from the website, you know, to them. Yeah.
I think that keeps it cleaner And,
Yeah.
and
It is,
so anyway,
it's approved then, yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
I just wondered, something in the back of my head is going ding, ding, ding. I wonder if the state's got some kind of, exemption about secondary commercial use, or is that covered under our use? Well, it's just, if we don't have anything to do with their, class, we don't have to worry about that anyway. They're just buying the gold sponsorship for $1,000. Yeah. We just heard you. I'm not saying really didn't have it. I mean, employees going off. Mine was too earlier. I was thinking about that. You know, anyway, so situation where it'd be a lot easier to say we're sorry instead of asking sure. I don't think it's that big of a deal. If somebody doesn't like it, or if you get feedback to that effect, we go, oh, sorry, we didn't know, I agree. Isn't all the stuff on the web things being recorded? Is this all being recorded, Jacob? I think it does. So,
It is, but I can chuck it,
yeah, sure. So we're basically talking about that. And we're going to be charging for access to that link to get people to educate us to that station. And we did it a while back where we
So,
yeah, it's amazing to look at. They're getting it up. It has to be larger. But commercial entity is using that for a purpose, then they want director of enterprise services to ask that all issues. That's the guy.
so the thing that makes it a little bit different, that they're going to keep giving what they're coming in and charging for is actually something that's in line with the whole so that's the mitigating thing. Like from that standpoint.
And we,
Is it a non-profit?
So the person,
it's a for-profit training company.
So great possibly champion the whole thing of forgiveness rather than permission. Also says that everybody forgets the second part of the formula, and that is all your superiors informed about what you're doing. So what you do is you go forward and say, we're doing this. If nobody complains, then fine. If they complain, then you say, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, what?
I do things injustice.
I guess my question is, we've done this before, so, I mean, there wasn't any complaints before, was there?
no one noticed. That doesn't mean they won't notice this time.
And people were paying before in order to take a certification.
Yes.
And so it's kind of things people agree to going on.
We're offering them for a lease that can have a lease that speaks to it.
And the subject matter they're teaching is totally in line.
Yeah, well, I think all of that. Yeah,
This is a wonderful thing that we're doing, and then see if anybody all of a sudden jumps up and says, "What?
Hey, you want your butt covered?" Yeah. Bring it out in the wind, dude. I want to hear back from you before I give them the okay. And I'll let Congress tomorrow. Oh, good. They're confident that I'm going to use it. I'm meeting with you tomorrow. Yeah.
And make it clear that we have a gold sponsor. I mean, it's really, yeah, it's important for us to be able to have that ability.
more likely sell it on the fact that it can be benefits students at school. So the key thing is, if you're going to use this method, you don't have to go it's okay. What you do is you say, this is what we're going to do, and here's how it's so wonderful, and everything like this. And if they don't object, then you go forward. If they object, then you say, oh, okay, well, so this is next step. So this is a pre-test to bring people up there. To the up there. That's, you know, which actually does our time because, you know, the class John's teaching. So they all get out of preparation class. So, very good. I think I would be just yeah, it's a bucket of worms. That'll be really fun. That's why you'll have to be there. Are you adjourned?
No, I got. Hold on, real quick. One more thing.
Uh-oh.
So yes, so we have the websites going. Registration should be launched next week. That's the hope, at least. And I know not to get the cart in front of the horse, but we need. It'd be great if we start working on dates for 2016.
I love you. I love you too. Okay.
But Phil.
24th. 23rd and 24th is next year.
23rd and 24th. Okay, that's great.
Because that doesn't conflict with PenguinCon.
Yeah, that would be great. Okay.
Okay. All right, thanks, Jacob. Thanks, Emily. Bye, you guys later. Ciao.
Yep. Bye.
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 Goodbye, everyone.
See you later, Emily.